Math Genie.
In this video, I'll be explaining how to solve basic probability question. Let us look at the question. What is the probability of rolling a 6 with a pair of standardized 6-faced dice? So when you look at this word probability right here in the question, what does that mean? What does that mean? That just means the ratio of the favorable outcomes to the total possible outcomes. 다시. In this video, I'll be explaining how to solve basic probability questions. Let's look at the question. What is the probability of rolling a 6 with a pair of standardized 6-faced dice? So here, the word probability is the main point of this question. What is a probability? Probability is simply the ratio of favorable outcomes to the total possible outcomes. So for example, this is a very, very easy example that you should be able to probably understand quickly. If there are, for example, a bag that has 5 marbles in them, and there's for example, 1 red marble, 2 green marble, and a 2 blue marble, and you want to figure out how many, what is the probability of you choosing green marbles out of the 5 marbles in the bag. It's simply 2/5. That's the answer. Why? 2 is the favorable number of outcomes, right? A favorable outcome. The outcome that you want, which is choosing a green marble, and the 5 represents the total number to choose from, right? This is the concept, super easy, this is a concept that you'll be using to solve any probability questions. So that's a quick example. And you should have already actually been exposed to probability questions, since I'm pretty sure that if you have already covered basic middle school math concepts, that you should be probably familiar with probability concepts. And always remember that probability is always between the ratio from 0 to 1. The probability is not going to be a negative number, never going to be a negative number, and it's never going to be greater than 1. Because 0 is expressing impossible. For example, from the example before, out of the 5 marbles, for example, I never said there was a yellow marble in the back, right? So the probability of drawing a yellow marble out of the 5 marbles in the bag is going to be 0, because it's impossible to draw a yellow marble out of the 5 marbles. However, 1 is the direct opposite of impossible. It's certain. So for example, if there is 5 marbles in the bag and all of them are red, what is the probability of you to choose the red marble? 100%. You're always going to be choosing the red marble no matter what. So that's going to be certain. So always remember that probability is always going to be between 0 and 1. So for example, if you get a negative number, which you should never get as your answer, you should be able to think, hey, I got this problem wrong. Or if you ever get a probability that it's greater than number 1, 10 out of 10, you are going to be writing down the wrong answer. So always remember this really, really basic concept that can really, really help you when you are checking your answers. So back to the actual question. You're talking about the standardized 6-faced dice, and when a math problem is going to be asking you a standardized dice, they're just talking about the 6-faced dice, self-explanatory, but 6 sides, a dice that has 6 sides. And this is the most commonly asked type of dice in math competitions. So always be sure to remember this. So 6 sides meaning that it ranges from 1 to 6 dots or numbers on each side. So you're going to be rolling a 6 with a pair of standardized 6-faced dice. A pair, let's analyze the question, means 2 dice, right? So you're going to be rolling 2 dice that has 6 faces. So they're talking about the probability of rolling a 6. What does this rolling a 6 mean? The 2 numbers that you're going to be getting from each pair of dice, when they add, do they get 6? So for example, If you roll a 6, you might get 1 and 5 from each dice. What do they add up to? 6. So is this a pair? That works, yes. You can roll a 6 if you get a 1 and a 5 on each pair of dice. So for example, let's set up some cases in this case. So if you get a 1, for example, on the first dice, what should you get on the second dice to get the sum of 6? 5. If you do 2, you need 4, 3, 3, 4, 2, 5, 1. And remember, 6 will not work in this case because there's no side that has number 0 on it, right? So this is the total number of outcomes that you can get. How many is this? This is 5 ways that you can roll a 6. So now we know the favorable outcome. So in our answer, which will obviously be in a fraction in this case, we already know what the top number is going to be when it's not simplified, which is going to be 5. Well, at the bottom, that should be how many total possible outcomes there are. And how can you find that? What will you be doing? You can get a total of 6 numbers in the first dice and 6 numbers in the second die. 36 total outcomes. So 36 should be the total number. Is this simplified? Yes, it is simplified. So your answer to this question is going to be 5 over 36. Usually questions will ask you to write your answer in fractions, so you usually don't have to worry about turning it into to a decimal or a percent. However, when it does ask you, always remember to read the question carefully, but usually they will usually accept either of the answers, and usually it's the easiest way to write it is obviously in fraction. Thank you for staying until the end of this video.
Math Genie.